Hey everybody, sorry for the extravagant getup today. I'm doing a little bit of extra work on the side that required a little snazzying up, so bear with me. But hey, if you're new here, please be sure to get subscribed because I am SuperDerek. I make thoughtful and thought-provoking videos for gamers who love RPGs, and today I'm talking about video game collecting in 2021. And it's really changed this year. It's changed actually since 2020, and really my opinion on this all kind of came to a head when I went down to Arlington for Retropalooza this year. I just wanted to kind of get this off my chest because it's been something that's been on my mind. It's been weighing heavily on me for a while. And that's the fact that I've been effectively priced out of retro game collecting. My hobby here, you don't get all of these games just by purchasing casually. I've made a concerted effort and I've had a lot of fun collecting video games over the years, from thrift stores and pawn shops and secondhand game shops. So I think that that's pretty much come to an end for me, and I feel like my feelings on that have pretty much been solidified when I was at Retropalooza. What I've often done in games conventions and stuff is, you pay a little bit of money to get in, you hope that the prices are going to be a little bit more competitive when you go in there, and well, Retropalooza this year pretty much was not that experience for me. But this year when I went into Retropalooza, what I found was a lot of stalls that had pretty crazy pricing. And I feel like pricing, at first I thought it was COVID pricing is what I called it. Everybody got their stimulus checks, and a lot of people who didn't need it immediately to, secure their rent or funds for groceries and stuff, they spent that on luxury goods. And one of those luxury goods that I assumed at the time was retro video games. A lot of people who were stuck at home wanted something to do, so why not go buy a bunch of RPGs to suck up some time while you're stuck at home? Great idea. I had a similar thought, but I ended up not spending it on that. Paid off some bills instead. But what I assumed was just a bit of COVID pricing, some surge pricing from a lot of demand all at once from people who had money all at once. I thought that would kind of cool back down, but it seems like it never did. And now we've been seeing a lot of more headlines about video games going for millions of dollars for Super Mario Bros. You gotta be kidding me. And I know that there have been a lot of other YouTubers who have gone far deeper into the subject than I ever could between WATA and Heritage auctions, and I think that it's very easy to draw certain conclusions based on that evidence, but if I had a lawyer, they would tell me not to say anything further from that, and I'll leave you guys to do your own research and form your own opinions on that. But the point of the matter is, prices have not come back down, and I'm starting to think that they might not ever. It's really gotten, for RPG collecting of retro video games, it's kind of gotten really crazy. When I was over at Arlington and Retropalooza looking through the games and stuff, the cheapest things that I wanted were like loose copies of games that they were selling for $100 plus. And normally, like, I'll go to a convention and I'll spend a few $100, but I'll get like stacks of games, or I had not a single game, and that's just really unfortunate. So anyways, I think I'm done with retro collecting at this point. Hopefully things will pop this bubble. I mean, personally speaking, this is not an investment. That's not my retirement. That's my sentimental value back there. That's stuff that I'm keeping. If there were a time to sell, I would sell it right now before the bubble bursts, right? But no, I'm holding on to it, but I'm just not going to be adding anything else to it. Well, that's not quite entirely correct, because I still do intend to continue collecting in other ways. Right now, I've been finding that not as retro, but semi-retro. I guess you might just call it old video games. The old HD games, the PS3, Xbox 360, Wii U. Those prices aren't as insane as like the cartridge-based stuff. PlayStation 2 is also, it was getting up there for a little bit. I think it's cooled off a little bit, but who knows, So what I've been finding is that I've been having a lot more luck continuing to trawl through some pawn shops and secondhand shops. My thrift stores are pretty barren, unfortunately. The community I live in, a lot of people aren't into really donating. Yeah, you end up with kind of the bottom of the barrel to start with. By the time you get there, whatever's left over is like the leftovers of leftovers, truly. So pawn shops, pretty okay. You can usually kind of get an okay deal, especially because they don't update their prices nearly as often there, I find, if they do decide to price their games at all. Some places don't price them and then they just look them up immediately when they're selling them to you. I mean, sure, but if you're looking for a deal, that kind of sucks, right? But at least pawn shops are still usually willing to haggle with you if you are buying a few things from them. Otherwise, honestly, where I'm getting most of my games at this point, secondhand video game shops like GameStop, honestly. And I know a lot of people are like, boo, GameStop. And I understand, you know, GameStop doesn't pay you very well for your used video games, but that's how they can afford to sell them to people like me on the cheap, or at least on a lot cheaper than Facebook Marketplace or eBay in my experience. So often you'll find that when you go in there, they'll have a bunch of deals like buy 4 under 20 for like $30 or something. And it's like, okay, that's not too bad. And then I'll go and snag a few and find things that work for me. That's honestly where I've been doing a lot of my most recent video game collecting, and I've been finding some pretty good clearance deals too from GameStop as well. I got the Sakuna of Rice and Ruin collector's edition for like $30, complete in box, just sealed. It's immaculate, and I'm pretty happy with what I picked out. So at this point, it's kind of weird how the tables have turned a little bit. It used to be when I would go to GameStop, I would be angry to see a lot of the games that they were selling for as expensive as they are, but they've continued to be pretty competitive as the prices of other games have gone pretty skyrocketing. So I don't know. That's just where I am right now. Anyways, I wanted to kind of get a lot of that off my chest and let you guys know what my thoughts were on this. And I'm kind of curious about what your experience is. Are you a game collector? Do you collect physical video games? And if so, what are your current strategies for finding decent deals at this point? Because I don't know. I'm out. I'm out of retro gaming at this point. I'm out of retro game collecting. I loved it while I could, but now it has become crazy. Anyways, if you liked what you saw today, please be sure to get subscribed because I am SuperDerek. I make thoughtful and thought-provoking videos for gamers who love RPGs, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.